Hello gamers and welcome back to NeueCraft, my first ever private SMP server here on Minecraft 1.18. So, last episode we came back from our travels and caught up on what's been going on the server in my absence, and then we started to invest in a new mega base for myself. Now, we built this storage system designed by Mbon, and it's epic. Absolutely epic. I love it. As you can see, I am mid-flow right now, trying to populate the thing. I decided to give it a go with the shulkers rather than the chests. So far, so good. So there's pros and cons to both routes, right? Chests are fine and static, and I could also make these all double and double the capacity. I'm not sure I need all that capacity, if I'm honest. But what I usually do with these systems when I just use chests is I put item frames on the end and then put an item on it, either to represent the entirety or a rough idea of what is inside that chest. The whole purpose of using this Mbon design is that it is lag-free. And if I put item frames on all of these chests, that's 350 something more item frames, entities that needs to be loaded in and kept track of that cause a lag. So I like the idea of keeping it as lag-free as possible. And you obviously can't put things on the shulker boxes because they would pop off as they open every single time. So you can't label these. That's the downside of using them. One of the plus sides is, when I'm doing a project, usually I would keep all my stuff in the chests and have shulker boxes for the project, and I would have to go in here, take out all the things I want, put them in the shulker box, and then take it away. Now, if I decided, I just need some stone for a project, grab the stone box, grab another box, grab another box, grab another box, all the boxes I need, just take them all with me, drop them down for the project. When I'm finished, you can bring them back and put them in place. Easy. And so I'm pretty confident I can remember, sort of what quadrant of one of these units I store stuff in, based on memory alone. And then I'm using color to sort of differentiate them a bit. So I've got like dark grey for cobble, grey for stone and andesite, and diorite is white, and pink is for granite, etc. Here we've got yellow terracotta, we've got the magentas and purples, the greens, the blues, cyans, and then we've got sand down here and sandstone. And then I've just been going into the woods. You get the idea. Acacia log. So as long as I know roughly whereabouts each thing is, then I should be good. So the plan is to just keep on filling this thing up and slowly but surely populating the whole thing with everything that I want to store, and we'll see how we go from there. Hopefully it should look quite cool as well when it's finished, rather than just being brown chests or item frames which are kind of messy. This could look kind of cool, like a patchwork blanket of sorts. So that's the plan. Other things to do around here before I get too far with the base building. Smelter. I really want to get the smelter in. I want to put it underneath. And I made this for glass so that we'd be able to see it through here. So we'd be able to see the trains going along the top of the tracks here. I obviously need to dig this out quite a bit more in order to be able to fit it in. That is fine. And then the output of the smelter would come back and go into the input of the storage. That would be the plan with that. And bulk storage is the other thing I've got to think about. Where do I put all the extra things that I've got way too much of? Like I'm keeping 2 shulkers of cobble, 2 of stone here, and a few other materials I'll double up on. And then all of this over here is mostly cobble and stone excess that I have. But that's going to go into a bulk storage facility somewhere. Hopefully shulker powered as well. I might use a shulker loader facility to do something like that if I can. And so, the other question to answer really is around the super smelter, like what type of fuel to use, but we can talk about that when I get around to it. But for now, I'm going to get back to populating this guy and getting this into a fully operational storage system, and yeah, I want to start using it properly. So, I've been pretty busy over here. I have now fully moved in, at least with my storage, and everything's unpacked and placed in its rightful place. And I've continued on with a little bit of decoration, as you can see. So, as for the storage, the shulker box thing works out pretty well. Here we've got all of our stones going all the way up to sort of deep slate, black stone, tough, and everything else. And then sort of manufactured stones will all go here. There's some space to flesh out into. Then we sort of go into sands and sandstones and soul sands, and then sort of these are nethery materials. And then we go into the woods. So we've got woods, and we've got the logs, and then the same with the planks. This entire wall is coloured things, so I think we start with glass, yep. And I've got a system where we go the neutrals, the whites and the blacks, and then the greys, and then the reds and the pinks, the purples, the blues, the cyans and the greens and the yellows, the oranges and the browns. And then we repeat the same for terracotta. So both glass and terracotta have like a default state, and then we go all of the colours. And then this is for wool. No default state of wool, it's just white, all the colours through to the orange and browns, and then we have the same for concrete. Concrete going all the way through to the last lot of concretes, and then the end part here is sort of other blocks. So we have lighting blocks, magma, shroom, glowstone, jack-o'-lanterns, sea lanterns, then some other bits and pieces on the end here, ices, snows, carpets, because it's sort of with the walls. And then over here, this is wood products, so we've got like sticks and stairs and slabs and fences, etc. And then stone products, same thing. And then we get into some sort of more exotic materials over here. And then over here is sort of mob stuff at the moment. And over here is plant stuff and food, and then over here is sort of interiors stuff and useful stuff, and then over here is minerals. So we've got iron and copper and gold and emerald and diamonds, lapis, etc., and then, you know, TNT and rockets and other things like that. So the system's working out pretty well. As you can see, there's a lot of gaps right now, and I'm okay with this for the minute. I think it looks empty now, but that's because I've come from like 12 double chests storage with some shulkers to this. And in my experience, you usually end up filling out something like this pretty quickly. So I'm just going to let it grow and flesh out over time. If I find I never completely fill it, then I can just remove this end unit and shuffle everything around a little bit, make it take up the space in a more efficient way. Or maybe take out the end one here, because I do need to figure out other storage, because obviously this only works for stackable items. The whole system only works because things can be stacked. So obviously non-stackable items can't go in here. They've got to go somewhere else. And I could just have a wall of stackable item stuff here that's manual, and like the auto storage ends here. Or I could put that stuff somewhere else. So all to be decided. Yeah, the styling I'm pretty happy with. I just gone with the sandstone ceiling for now. I might change that up a little bit. I tweaked around with the glass floor a little bit and hid the lanterns sort of tucked underneath. And, oh, hello, sir. This is not for you in here. And then I just started digging out the base here, because now I'm going to start thinking about the smelter and how much space this needs to take up. Every time I've built a super smelter in the past, I've winged it just a little bit too much and never give myself quite the space I need. And this time I'm going to do a little bit more planning. So what I'm going to do now is hop into a creative world, because there's a couple of very specific things I want to achieve with this super smelter that I did achieve in my single player Let's Play, but in a very roundabout way, and I'm pretty sure I can do it way more efficiently today. So I'm going to hop over there and start playing with a creative concept and see if it works. Okay, here we are in a creative world. I've been using to test some things, including the Secret Santa I made for Dr. Cass. This is where I first designed his little cat statue for his base that I gave him for Secret Santa, so that's fun. And over here I've been doing some tests around the super smelter concept, which looks a little complicated, but it all makes perfect sense, trust me. Now this is the planning I wanted to do because it is... These take some planning, and every time I've done it, I've messed it up a bit. I've never planned this much for a smelter ever, which is good. I think I've been ironing out all the problems and I know how to fit it in without building it first. So, how does it work? And what is the purpose of all this? A lot of super smelters are really basic, right? So you would have a chest at the top where you put some inputs or anywhere, and the input goes via some mechanism into a hopper minecart, and the hopper minecart will then run over the rails and drop the stuff that needs to be smelted. In this case, I've been testing with iron into the furnaces, and then it'll be collected. The outputs will be collected from underneath and go to a central place. In this case, it'll go back up and into our storage system. For now, I've just got this elevator going up to a chest right here. This will be 2 prongs. I think I want to make it this wide. And yeah, I've only done one side properly, and I've just extended this side of furnaces for testing. So there's a couple of things I always try to solve for here. Speed and efficiency. Now, what I want to do is get the items from here. So this would usually be a double chest at the top, but for testing I'm just sticking this one column for the one side. I want to get the items from here into the system as fast as possible. Now, hoppers are super slow. They're not very good at getting things around very quickly, and so in this case, because we're going vertically down, what we can do is use hopper minecarts. So what we have here is a couple of hopper minecarts shoved inside of blocks with pistons, and this allows the items to go from here down to here incredibly quickly. And our minecart is held in place by this piston with the fence, and this gets retracted whenever we want this minecart to go on its way and drop its wares. Now, we don't want this to just start going as soon as it receives something, because that's inefficient, because I want this to be quite long. It'll be inefficient because it'll only get a few items, and then it will come here, drop something in here, 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 and so here, and it has to travel all the way back down there and all the way back again before it picks up the next batch and then carries on. And it favors front loading this thing and takes a long time to fill the system, whereas we want to get the entire system filled as much as possible. Like, if we have enough material to smelt, we want every one of these to get filled on the way out and on the way back every single time the cart passes along it. And the way we do that is by having a sort of set of conditions here. So very simply, under here we've got a torch powering this block, and this block is going into this comparator, and this comparator is reading off of the rail. So if this is a full signal strength of 15, so this particular circuit is saying if this minecart gets full equals a signal strength of 15 coming in here, then power this, which will in turn unpower this. Okay, nice and simple. So if the minecart gets full, it's going to go on its way and distribute everything it needs to straight away. The other condition is if this, what if I don't put enough stuff to fill the minecart? Well, in that scenario, we say when the chest is empty. So when this chest is empty, this sends a signal down here, and we have a simple clock gate here that will only send something through when this comes off and then back on again, and that in turn will do the same thing and pull this back and send it on its way. So the cart will first go on its way when either the chest empties or the minecart is full, whichever comes first. Very good. Now the minecart goes off, goes on its way, and fills up everything all the way to the end, because hopefully it's got lots of stuff, and on the way back dropping at least 2 into each one of these furnaces. And then we've got a detector rail here. It'll get triggered in both ways, but it doesn't matter. And what that does is on its way back is when it matters to us, on its way back it triggers this and sends a one-way signal through here and here, as well as an immediate signal here. So the signal comes through here, and then there's a delay that keeps the signal powered. It's like a long... keeps it powered long enough for this cart to get all the way back to here and probably back again And what it does is, if the signal is lit, if there's something in the cart at all, then it's going to lift this block out of the way, and that is going to pull this back. So basically, when this is doing its return journey, if there's anything in the cart still, it's going to continue and bounce back on its way. And that's it, basically. That should give us a pretty efficient system. I need to have a little play around with this and see if there's some simplification. As always, your first draft of any redstone project can get a little cumbersome, and I think there's probably a bit of simplification I can do, especially in here. So I'm going to have a go at stripping it back, but before I do that, let me demo this to you. So let me get a couple of stacks of material, and just watch how fast this fills up. Look at that go. Whoosh. Super fast. It's filling up in here super fast. We're going through a stack. It takes just over a second to get a full stack in. In this case, this is going to get... Oh, we ran out. Yeah, we only put 3 stacks in. So off it goes. All of those get fired. All of them have at least 2 in. They're all smelting away. It realized that it still has more stuff to deliver when it came back. So it gets sent off again. And it probably still does. Let's see if we can see on the way back what's inside. Yep, there we go. It's still got about a stack to drop off. So it's probably going to go one more time after this. Yep. I think there's 20 furnaces here, so it can drop off 40 items per run. There we go. So it should stop totally now. Dead. Yep, there's nothing else to deliver. All the items are in here, they're all smelting away, everything's being pulled out, all the iron is going through these hoppers, and we should see it accumulating up here in this chest. Here we go. It's creeping up. Good. So that's probably about as quick as I can make this thing, I think. So this half would need to be a mirror image of this, and yeah, pretty happy with this design, really. So then we just need to figure out exactly where we want to have the inputs, and of course we've got to do the fuel side of things. So the fuel, I often find it's a bit too complicated to try and squash the fuel into this side of things as well. So the fuel I'd put down at the other end, and that gives us an opportunity. I mean, to start with, I'll just have a very simple system that dumps all of this stuff into the hopper minecart and uses that to run over these internal rails here, and this comes into the back of the furnaces and fills them up. Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to simplify and then look to put this into our new storage room back in the server. Okay, so I'm about half done with this, I think, and once again I got a little bit carried away with the decoration, but I think it's looking pretty good. So let's go down and have a little look. Now, there was already a ring of yellow terracotta under here that I used for the floor of the redstone components for the storage system, and I needed to transition to something. So I sort of went with this fiery theme of blending from orange into orange terracotta into red glass and black stone at the very bottom there. Give it some depth. I still need to do the very end over here, but yeah. Got all the furnaces in. I think there's 30 on each side, which is absolutely plenty. And then the redstone stuff, which is about half done. So yeah, we have, I decided to make this not quite as high as in my prototype, and I'm going to embed this in the floor and probably put some trapdoors here, just because it's something I'm not going to access all that frequently. And that's goes down into here, and we have the system. I simplified this a little bit, so this is if the chest empties, set the system off. Over here, no, I can't get back up now. I've taken away all my scaffolding, but over here we have the system to detect when the railcar is full, send it on its way, and then we also have the system of returning railcar if there's still stuff in it, let it get back on its way. So the 3 different systems that work all together to help determine whether we should be running the system or not. So that all seems to be working great. So next up is to mirror all of that on this side. Then I've got to put in the rail carts and the power system, and then we can start thinking about fuel and how we get the fuel into these lines, which will be something I do down this end, I imagine. And I don't actually have a good fuel source right now, so that's the problem we're going to have to solve after that, I think. So I think we're about done with this now. I've now mirrored all the redstone on the other side. Mirrored as best I can that this is a 5 wide space that starts off 2 wide down there, so it's, yeah, goes out 1 extra here to become sort of symmetrical for the rest of it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. A little bit chaotic in there perhaps, but I like being able to see all the redstone. And then all the over here, what I've done is added in a barrel, which is where we'll put our fuel, and I need to go get some glass to finish that off. The fuel goes in here, and there's a hopper line that takes it all the way down to the bottom. So we just dump a load of fuel in here, and then we've got a activation system, which will send those on their way, and they will continue to run as long as that's on. Turn that off, they should come back and stop. So pretty manual fuel system right now, and this is all the coal I have in the world, so I'm going to patch that hole, fill this up, put some stuff in, and then we're gonna do a smelting test. So the system is primed. I have put a seed amount of coal in here and set this thing on its way. I'll just run it one more time just to make sure it's nicely topped up. We've got enough coal in all of our furnaces to do a test, and here we go. So we're going to put in 2 stacks of iron ore that we had collected, and because it's 2 stacks, it's going to go through very quickly. So let's give this a whirl and see how fast this really is. There we go, 2 stacks are in, a stack each delivered, and off they go. As quick as that, whole stack dropped on down. Down they go. Let's get down there. We should see. There we go. The last few bits end up in here. All the furnaces are lit. These first few should have 2 in. And then that's the first of the 1. That makes sense. So the 4, so we've got exactly 30. So that's 64 gone in. You can hear the dropper elevator doing its thing over here. I wanted to make this not silent, because I wanted an audio cue for when it's finished. And then I can know that the items are done, the smelting is finished, and I don't need to worry about it anymore. So I'm not going to be doing it that often, so I'm pretty happy for it to be something that makes a noise when it does. And all that stuff should be flowing through the system right now. If we go back here, yeah, we should see it all coming through. Load of iron going through, and that's going to go all the way through the storage system and into its final place, which in this case is all the way over here. This one. Oh wow. Okay. Bit of melon ended up in there. Yeah, it'll go through the whole thing. I guess it'll take a minute or 2 to get around there, and all that iron should end up right there. Success! Success! It works! Haha! First time as well. Pretty happy with that, and yeah, we do need to sort fuel. I'm happy to keep it very manual for now, because that's cool, but coal is not going to be our source of fuel for the future here. I think we're going to go with blaze rods, and what we're going to do now is go and scope out a couple of locations for a potential blaze farm, and that will give us the rods that we need, and then we can just dump an absolute boat ton of blaze rods into here, fill up the system, and we're good to go. So I'm back in the nether looking for a fortress. I had one that we had discovered already, and it had 2 blaze spawners in, but somebody seems to have built all over it and taken them out. And so I've been exploring and just come out here, popped out into a new area, and that very much looks like a fortress to me. So we're going to go over there and explore and see if it has a blaze spawner. After a couple of attempts at trying to get in this fortress this way, I keep getting my butt kicked and running away. It's crazy down there. I was about to head home, and then I spotted that, which I thought looked like a spawner, and indeed it was. I bridged out, and skeletons are spawning on my bridge. So the spawner I want to use is just down there. It's kind of isolated, which is good. Exactly what we want. There is another one just over here. This fortress is enormous. There's one right there too, but they're just too far apart. So we have to be within 16 blocks of a spawner for it to actually generate mobs. Those are much further apart than that. Okay, it's been a few hours and the tricky bit is done. I've cleared the land and created the box where these guys live. Once they're in there, it's much easier to deal with. You don't have to worry about the potions anymore. Now I've just got to make a nice little secure space here to AFK and take them out, and then we're more or less done. We've got to get the lava in, of course, so I've got to get down and get some lava. And that would allow us to push them all to the center, and then they're in their killing chamber, ready to go. So, probably about another 30 minutes or so for me to finish up here, and I should be in a good place to show it finished and working. Alright, we're more or less done. I've just got the last tricky bit to do. We've got to get the lava in the corners. So I've taken some invisibility and fire resistance potions, which should allow me to get in here and getting damage. Oh, no, oh my god. Oh, do they have thorns? Oh. Okay, I got back, got most of my stuff. Luckily, managed to get in there before any of these guys really spawned, which was good. So, round 2. Top up on our fire resist. I realised invisibility is kind of pointless because as soon as we break a block, they can see us, and I've made myself a little platform this time, and we're going to do this a bit more intelligently, like so. Come on, last one. Got it. 4 out of 4. All the lava is in. Just got to break the blocks in the middle. Take out this platform, and I think we're good. There we go. Should be good. So I think we're in a good place now to just sit here, let them all fall in. There's quite a few of them backed up there. They should all naturally push in to the center here. And we just sit here with our looting swords, giving them a good old whack. And we should be getting our blaze rods in here. Super. Okay, so here it is from a distance, all finished up. Perfect cube as ever. Very, they are what they are. Relatively simple things to build, but very practical and very useful for getting those blaze rods. So I think we're pretty much done here. Now it's just a case of spending a bit of time, doing a little bit of AFK, collecting those rods. Okay, so I have loaded this thing up with blaze rods, and I've just done a quick timed test. So I dropped in 1 stack of smeltable material, in this case it's copper, and hit the timer, hit the stopwatch the minute I dropped it in the chest, and stopped it the minute the last elevator click sounded. So that's going from input chest to output into the storage system. And it took exactly 45 seconds to do an entire stack, which is pretty good. Very happy with that. So that's just about as fast, I think, as is possible, at least for me. So I'm without making it, uber massive. Yeah, I think we're about ready to just dump everything we've got to smelt in here. So I'm just gonna put in all of this and all of this and all of this. Some chicken, why not? Everything that is smeltable is now going in. That's quite a lot. That's the most I've ever put in this system. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens first. I guess the chest empties first, yeah. I still didn't have enough to fill each cart. Off they go. Alright, so we've been blaze rod farming here for a while. We've got a couple of shulkers worth, nearly up to our third shulker. Once we've got that, I think we're going to head home. But in the meantime, I've been finding it quite difficult to get here. Like it's quite a long journey through the nether to get here. It'd be much easier to just fly across the roof. Much simpler. So, in order to make that possible, I've carved myself a little tunnel up here, all the way to the nether ceiling. And I'm not sure if I can do this from underneath, actually. I may need to do it from above. I need to go back, but I found a spot up here. I need to get the coordinates for at least. Well, I think it's going to be a good place to break the bedrock. And this shulker in my hand has everything we should need to have multiple attempts at doing that. So right here is the spot. Yeah, I can't do this from underneath, it seems, at least not as easily. So what I'm going to do is go and get my third shulker of blaze rods, take all that home along with this, and head to those coordinates on the roof, and from there we're going to make a hole straight down here, is the plan. Okay, so we've come up here to the nether roof and flown over to the position which is directly above where we just were beneath. This is the block that we're going to try and break. So I'm going to get all the things I know that we're going to need for this. I don't need the ender pearls actually because we flew here, and this spot is where we're going to try and break. So we put the piston here. We put the obsidian next to it. We put a block there. Then we grab our TNT and we put one there and one there. And trapdoor goes there. So we've got to get underneath, and we've also got to put a lever above here. Like this, and this is going to set the TNT off. So the idea being, can I hit the lever from under here? Doesn't look like it. So what we've got to do is we're going to hit the lever, we're going to get underneath, and then we've got to spam right click right here. Aha! That didn't work, did it? Okay, let's get back. Alright, a couple of practices later. I realised I hadn't actually selected the piston. I think we're ready to give it a go again. Okay. Damn, we keep dying. Right, this time I put blast protection on everything, and we're holding a totem. So let's see if this makes any difference at all. Okay, so I'm going to get into position. We're going to boom, boom. Okay, I survived. That's much better, but we didn't get the hole, so let's try again. Okay, we have done it. We cleared the first block, and there was another block underneath it. It wasn't the highest bedrock block, unfortunately, so I had to clear the one next to it, and then the one in front of it, so I could get rid of the one we wanted, because we wanted a straight shoot all the way down there without having to remove any much further down. But it's done. It is done, and now we have a way in and out. So first thing to do, I think, is just fill in the gaps here, make this passage a accessible thing that we can get up and down. Great. And yeah, then of course we're going to drop in ladder so we can get ourselves up and down through this gap. Alright, so that's all nicely tidied up. So now we have our little door going into here, and we have a nice staircase taking us all the way up with a window overlooking. Very nice. Back up to here, up to our bedrock, and out we go. And home should be this way. Much, much faster. Okay, mission successful. We have a super smelter, we have a fuel source, and our base is coming along really nicely. The storage system is looking grand, and every time I put in a new chest, it just feels more and more complete. I also now have a whole stack of blaze rods in every single one of the smelters, so it's all ready to be fueled and do its thing. So I'm going to turn all this cobble into stone because I think I'm going to need it for my build. So I'm just going to dump a whole shulker in here, let it do its thing, and yeah, hooray, off we go, we're off to the races. So I think that's about all. That's where we're going to leave it for today's episode. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We definitely achieved a lot, and yeah, I can't wait till we get into the next episode when we're going to start putting the outside of this base together. That's going to be a lot of fun, and we're definitely not going to achieve it all in one episode, but I think we're going to make a pretty good first attempt at making a base and figuring out what on earth it's going to look like. So, look forward to seeing you all then. You take care for now. Bye-bye.